It started with a simple decision, a quiet move, a fresh beginning, kind of choice you make when you believe leaving one place will fix everything. The house was small, old, and far from the noise of the city, surrounded by trees hidden from neighbors. It felt private, peaceful, safe, at least that's what they thought. First night passed without a single incident. The second night, however, felt different. Not frightening, just heavier. The air inside the house felt thicker, as if the walls were holding onto something invisible. Sleep came slowly, interrupted by the sound of the house settling, or at least that's what they told themselves. By the third night, the sounds had changed. Footsteps echoed softly through the hallway even when everyone was in bed. They weren't rushing. They weren't random. They were slow, deliberate steps that stopped just outside the bedroom doors. But whenever someone turned on a light, the hallway was always empty. During the day, everything felt completely normal again, and honestly, that's what made it worse. Small things were moved just slightly out of place, a chair angled toward the center of the room, a door left open when it had been closed. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious, just enough to make you doubt your own memory. The house never felt empty, it felt aware. This feeling grew stronger after sunset. Conversations became shorter, silence stretched on longer than it should. Phones, which were once a source of comfort, now just felt like distractions. Being alone in any room suddenly became uncomfortable, as if someone else had entered without making a sound. Sleep stopped coming easily. One night, a voice was heard. It wasn't loud, it wasn't threatening, just a whisper, calling a name from the darkness. It sounded close, familiar, almost kind, but when the person responded, the voice stopped immediately, leaving behind a silence that felt cold and intentional. After that, fear became a part of the routine. Lights stayed on all night, doors were left open, and the house responded by growing louder. The gentle creaks turned into distinct footsteps. The footsteps turned into pacing. The sounds followed them from room to room, never staying in one place for long. Then the mirrors began to feel wrong. Reflections would lag for just a fraction of a second. Faces looked unfamiliar in the low light. Their eyes felt watched even when they turned away. Standing in front of a mirror for too long created an intense, overwhelming urge to look over their shoulder. No one ever saw anything, but everyone felt it. The house didn't feel angry, it felt curious. As the days passed, moods began to shift. Irritation would appear without any reason. Sadness would settle in suddenly and deeply. Thoughts felt intrusive, unfamiliar, as if they were borrowing emotions from somewhere else. As soon as they stepped outside the house, everything felt normal again. The air was lighter. Their minds were clearer, but the moment they walked back inside, the pressure returned. Like a heavy blanket, visitors noticed it immediately. They didn't need to be told anything. Some complained of headaches, others felt dizzy. If you refused to stay longer than a few minutes, seeing the house made them deeply uncomfortable in ways they just couldn't explain. No one ever stayed overnight. The activity peaked late at night, especially during moments of silence when the house was quiet. It somehow felt louder when the lights were off. The darkness felt crowded. Standing still for too long created the sensation of being surrounded even when completely alone. One night, footsteps climbed the stairs slowly, stopping right at the top. No door opened. No one appeared. But the feeling of a presence lingered, strong and unmoving, as if something stood there in the dark, just listening. The house was no longer being subtle. It wasn't trying to scare them away. It felt like it was reminding them that it was there, that it was a part of their lives now. Research into the house's history revealed very little. There was no violent past, no famous tragedy, just years of quiet living and quiet leaving. People didn't move out suddenly or in a panic. They simply didn't stay long. That small detail felt worse than any dramatic ghost story. The house didn't create chaos, it created exhaustion. It wore people down through persistence, not shock. The realization came slowly. The house wasn't reacting to their fear. It seemed to be feeding on their attention. The more it was noticed, the more present it became. The more emotional the atmosphere grew, the stronger the pressure felt. Silence, sadness, stress, all of it seemed to give the house something to respond to, something to grow with. Leaving became the only option. On the final night, nothing happened. No sounds, no footsteps, no whispers. The silence felt heavier than ever before. When morning came, the feeling of relief was overwhelming. house stood quiet behind them as they left, unchanged, undisturbed, as if nothing had ever happened inside. But even miles away, the feeling lingered. The house didn't chase, it didn't follow. It didn't need to, because some places don't haunt people. They mark them, and once you've been, noticed, you never forget the feeling. If this story stayed with you, don't forget to subscribe for more chilling stories like this. Like the video, share it with someone who loves real atmospheric horror. Remember, some houses don't need ghosts to be terrifying.